Hello. Welcome back. It's episode 3. It very well could be the finale. That'd be crazy if it was both of the series back to back. Because since I'm still doing all of this in one day, of course, just a couple of days ago was the first episode of The Ghost of Baal. And I really hope you guys enjoy that one. I very much enjoy painting Ghosts of Baal. They're slightly challenging, because I prime them white. And then I need the red to go over the armor very clearly. Very clearly. But I promised you guys on the last episode that on this episode, we would talk about the Pokemon games and my experiences growing up playing them. Of course, growing up, we all knew what Pokemon was. I don't even know how we knew it, but we just knew it. It was something that was just kind of there, and we knew it was there, and we were excited for it. I guess we'd seen advertisements. We'd seen the cards. Maybe we saw a friend with the cards. I don't rightly remember exactly how. We're going to do some edge highlighting before we even glue this guy together, of course. But I know Pokemon just kind of exploded into our lives. It just all of a sudden took over. That was all you cared about. That was all you thought about. Schools had to quickly start to ban, bringing Pokemon cards. And they were like, we're going to confiscate them and everything. And kids are like, you can't take our stuff and blah, blah, blah. And we knew the value of it. They didn't, and they didn't care. And I don't know. I don't blame them. As an adult now with people and their stupid ass little trends today, don't really care how much this means to you. Now is not the time or the place for it. Which is fine. We had no business bringing that crap to school. You're there to learn. You're there to learn you something. Not be an idiot. Not be a friggin' idiot. That was Desert Yellow that we just used, by the way, on the leather. I don't use Desert Yellow a lot. But we're going to get out our good old mummy robe for all the other highlight. Because we can. And for the edge highlighting, I'm using whatever the hell you call that is. AX? EX? IX. AIEX. Whatever. A 1 gauge. Back to the topic at hand. So Pokemon, right? I loved it, and everybody else loved it. I'm sure you love it too. If you're watching this, it's probably because I got you with the thumbnail. And go figure, we wait until now to start talking about it. Episode 3, potential finale. And that's just, to me, that's kind of funny and ironic. Because you would think I would talk about that in the first one. I missed a spot right there. But guess what? It's okay. Because the silver is still wet. And we could still get it. But yeah, man. Pokemon just exploded into our lives. I don't even know how I convinced my parents to get both of the games, because they knew that it was the same damn game. I knew it was the same damn game. I guess part of me had hoped that it was a different, slightly different game. But no, same damn game. You just get some different Pokemon in each one. And that's the only way you can complete the codex, is to actually transfer and trade, which was cool. It promoted that kind of thing. But people like me, and this, I guess that's where it really developed for. or from. I've never been an online multiplayer guy. Um, I enjoyed my time playing co-op with certain friends and everything, but yeah, I didn't really. I never liked playing online multiplayer all that much. I did my time in Halo and even Halo 2, and that was about it. But yeah, even back then, I didn't care to trade. One, I never had the cord, and the quote unquote friends that I had at that age, they weren't just trying to make trades, they were trying to come out on top, which I guess is what you're trying to do in a trade. I don't know. I'd say you'd want a fair trade, but I'm also not going to trade you like 3 Pokemon for one. Maybe people did. I really don't know what other people did for trading purposes. But yeah, I didn't have the cord, so I didn't really do any of the trading. Like it killed me that you couldn't get a Gengar unless you traded. You had to trade for it. Which again, marketing wise, brilliant move. Because then, the people have to go out and get that. They have to get the cord for it. Because you can't just do it. You have to have an actual cord. A certain cord that plugs into your device. But either way, I fell in love with the game just like all of you did. And, more or less liked the show. It didn't capture me all that much, not like the game had. Mainly because I did not like Ash. I thought he was a bit of an idiot. Which is fine, but I found it very irritating to watch. Just his decisions and his mannerisms and whatever. And I was like, God, what is wrong with you, dude? Like, to this day, the whole him trying to beat Brock, and he hooks Pikachu up to a watermill with some batteries and tries to artificially supercharge him. And I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? I'm like, isn't that basically torture to try to make him more powerful? What the fuck is wrong with you, man? I never understood that. I always thought Ash was terrible for that. Maybe I'm wrong, and that's not what he was doing. He wasn't torturing Pikachu and all this stuff. I'm like, well, he didn't look like he wanted to really be a part of that. But either way, every good story needs a good villain, right? And I loved Team Rocket. And I've always been a fan of villains. They usually have the cooler paint scheme or color scheme. They usually have the cooler logo. And they're like, hey, man, we're cool, we're bad. As cliche as some of that stuff can be. I was always drawn to that more than anything else. Not that I wanted to be a bad guy. I'd rather be... It was kind of like Snape. I think that's why I like Snape so much, is because he wasn't really the bad guy. He had to play the role for the longest time. But it was part of his aesthetic as well. He was a Slytherin. That's partly why I consider myself to be a Slytherin. And so I like green and silver more than red and gold. Which is funny because I was a Blood Angel fan for a long time. But every story needs a really good villain. And I loved Team Rocket. I loved the simplicity of it. I didn't really care for Jesse and James all that much. You know, they were entertaining in the show, whatever. Always after that damn Pikachu for whatever reason. But yeah, man, it just never... Nothing else really clicked with me except for Team Rocket. And I remember getting some kind of hell for that, like weird looks or whatever, because I liked the villain more than anything. But, you know, come to find out much later in life after the internet that there were a lot of you out there that preferred Team Rocket. That you actually won a game where you have the choice of joining them. And I was like, yes, okay, great. I'm glad I'm not the only one who considered this. Because in a true RPG, I feel like in a true RPG, you'd have that opportunity. You'd have that choice. And yeah, so many of us were an instant, yes, I want in. Of course I want in. You guys are awesome. Yes, I want in. And why the hell wouldn't you? It's so freaking cool. You get to wear black and gray and red. Ugh. You get the cool Pokemon too. I know they always, you know, had to bash on them and then give them crap. Like, why are you going to run around a cave and you got 6 Zubats? Why? Why do you have 6? Dude, you do not need 6 Zubats. Get the hell out. You don't need it. You're stupid. Or you got like 4 Diglets. Dude. I think those were just some of the trainers. But yeah, man. I don't know. Certain things drove me nuts, but I very much liked the aesthetic of Team Rocket. I very much liked Giovanni with his swagger-ass suit, having some badass Pokemon. He's the final boss, and it's not something really intimidating. Like they could have gone with like Psychic or Fighting. No, they went with Grass. He's got Grass Pokemon. I mean, what the hell? Of all the badges. And it was awesome to be able to beat him like that. And then he's not even really the final boss. Yeah, they're a criminal organization and all that, and then you technically take them down, technically, when you defeat Giovanni. At least that's how it seemed by the time you got to the second game. Which almost didn't make any sense to me. I was like, how many? All I did was beat him in a Pokemon match. I mean, what the hell? That's a trainer's job, is to be there and be the obstacle. It's not like they can never do that again. It's like, oh, well, I was beat. I'm out. Why? Why are you out? You're the gym leader. Dude, just be the gym leader. You're fine. I don't know. Maybe I was thinking too much about it. But I know that Team Rocket, you know, collapses and whatnot. I believe you assault their base, you infiltrate it, and take them down. So maybe you have to fight Giovanni twice. It's hard for me to remember, honestly. It's been so long now. But that game left a very big impression on me, and I never really cared about catching them all. I've never once filled out an entire Pokedex, and I probably never will, and it will most likely never affect me. You know, I can't put that on a resume. I thought about it though. I really did think about that. Just putting completed every Pokedex of every Pokemon generation, proof upon request. Just to see if anybody noticed. Which if your resume is short, sweet, to the point, yeah, it'll be pretty easy to notice that you put something like that on there. Sorry, I didn't mean to fall silent. It's just all of a sudden I'm hearing things downstairs. I'm trying to make sure everything's all right. You never know when life is gonna need you. Throw a little white on these. All right, now we only have the torso. So it is very much looking like this is going to be our last episode. I know I keep saying it, and you're going to know in the thumbnail. So if that is getting annoying to you, oopsie. But, sometimes it's hard to tell when you're painting these things. So I know I've jumped all over the place, but I swear to God, man, Pokemon, it was one of the most wonderful experiences of my life. I don't know how that would sound to certain people, like, oh, well, that's sad. Like, no, it came at the right time. It took the world by storm, and I was caught up right there in the middle of it. It wasn't like I was a generation or 2 or 3 behind, and like, oh, this thing has been out there for so long, and now I finally get to enjoy it. Like, like if it was Castlevania or something, or Legend of Zelda was established before I could really get around to it. But I mean, there's not much I could do. And I don't know, I didn't really get into it either. But yeah, man, just Team Rocket left the biggest impression on me. I really liked them. And I very much liked the Pokemon game. I had some of the best times playing it, talking about it with friends. Having to hear certain friends, I'll not name people, talked about it before. He was just always better. That he was able to beat people, no problem. He was overpowered by them, and blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't know if you're just this fucking awesome at everything in life. I doubt it. But, alright. Kind of tired of hearing about how much better you are, or how much easier of a time you had playing this game, or doing this, or doing that. Alright, man. It's just, it was good times growing up in that kind of phenomenon that happened. So that's basically what it was a Pokemon phenomenon. The way it caught fire and just spread so quickly. And it just got huge. And it's still pretty big. It's still big, It still has its fan base today. I'm still part of it. I had gotten I'd stopped playing after Silver. My wife, she played it as a kid. And she's a different generation than me. And even they played it. And then we got the latest ones even. She had played Diamond and Emerald and no, which man. Oh, sorry guys. It's hard to remember what the names of some of these are. Pearl and Diamond. So I played her Pearl on the Switch, and it was pretty good. I got to the Elite Four, and I couldn't just beat them flat out, but I also didn't. I didn't keep trying. We're at 21 minutes now. That's crazy. But we are almost done here. So yeah, this will be the slightly longer episode, most likely. But as big as Pokemon was and everything like that, and yes, I was very much into it. We had the Pokemon cards, and I went looking for cards every chance my parents would let me go. And I'd be begging for cards, and we never played the game. We didn't understand it, but we also never read the rules. At least I didn't. I remember my friend who's, it was always the better one at everything. He had a Charizard, and I could confirm it was a Charizard, and I believe it was a first edition. I don't know what's happened to it in these past, 25, 30 years. I don't know what he's done with it. I don't know where it ended up or what condition it's in. But I know he could have sold that. He made some decent money from it. Uh-oh. I hear the little ones. They were wanting to come up here. Not yet, my babies. Dad is not done working. But, if anything... of course, I cleaned the brush right when there's... I noticed there's one more thing I gotta do on it. So I forgot that one. I stopped edge highlighting for the longest time, and then I started going back to dry brushing, and then I just wasn't liking it, and then I went back to and the edge highlighting stuff is working. It's working for me this time around. It takes time. It takes patience. With time comes grace. So let's start putting this guy together, right? But yeah, so my love for Pokemon was really blossoming and everything, just like everybody back in the 90s and 2000. And it really wasn't until it was when I want to say it was 98. Maybe it was 97. Hard to remember. When Pokemon Gold and Silver came out. And that was supposed to be it for the games. I remember the developers saying that. And that's basically how it was marketed too. That was supposed to be it for Pokemon. And It was such a resounding success that, of course, it's still going on today, you know, almost 30 years later. That was being kind of a pain, wasn't it? Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, not the most stoic pose, but it's, you know, he's gearing up. He's throwing a Pokeball. Poke grenade. He's throwing a Poke grenade. He's looking cooler and cooler by the minute as I'm putting them together. Even if I'm tooting my own horn, man. Sorry. Not sorry. He's looking fucking cool. I'm really liking it. And it was supposed to be just an easy, simple one to do. But yeah, man. Pokemon Silver came out. That is when the obsession really and the love really took off. Because it had, they gave you another 100 Pokemon, and it was just, it was a continuation. And then at the end, of course, after you beat uh, the Elite Four, and then who do you face next? Red. You from the first game. You're not just playing Trainer Red, you're playing you from the first game. That is so awesome. The fact that they even bothered. But one of my favorite things ever, from that game was the fact that Team Rocket was in shambles, and you still had to try to shut them down. I loved that Team Rocket was still there, and they were trying to reorganize, and they were trying to have a second coming. They were trying to have a comeback. I thought that was great, man. That was awesome, because they were my favorite part of the first game, and there they were trying again, and you had to shut them down. That's so cool. And there we go. My goodness, we're at 28 minutes, 15 seconds. There he is. And you guys are going to get a turntable of him. You will. But not after, or yes, after I put some Nuln Oil on him, which I'm not going to bother to do on camera because we're out of time. But I want to thank you guys for joining me on this one. This was really fun. I do apologize for not talking more about the Pokemon series. Just had other things cross my mind. But my lord, if you guys want me to do another one or change it up, do something I would love to do, and I've got a model I can do it. I could do Team Yell. But that's a story for another time. Until then, I will see you guys next week on whatever the hell is supposed to be coming our way. I still haven't decided on what it's going to be. But until then, take it easy. May the Void Father guide your brush. Please stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.